What's going on, everybody? K to the 2 here with week 14, the final week of the regular season of the NPL. This week we have our rematch once again against Zero and the Tampa Bay Rayquazas. Now, I really just want to get this video up, so I didn't contact Zeke to get my artwork done. I really just don't really care that much how good it looks, because I'm excited to get into the playoffs, because right now before this match I am sitting at 11-2 and I'm guaranteed a playoff spot. I'm guaranteed a top 3 seed. If I win this game, I will be guaranteed the number 1 overall seed at 12-2. And if I lose, I will be guaranteed the number 3 seed at 11-3, just based on differential. So if I really wanted like a easier road, I guess, like on the outside looking in, you'd think, oh, why wouldn't you just want to play the wild card teams? Well, it's kind of tricky, because I feel like I have a better matchup against the Atlanta Braviaries than I do against either of the 2 potential wild card teams, which Zero is potentially one of those wild card teams. So I mean, if I wanted to take the easy way out, I could just throw the match, but that's not who I am. I want to go in here and take this game, take the number 1 overall seed, and win the MVP 2 years in a row. This year, Infernape has the potential, if it gets, I think it only needed 2 kills in order to get guaranteed MVP or something. I don't know, it's pretty ridiculous. Either way, Infernape is basically the MVP going into this game, and I had 3 games where it really could have done a whole lot of work that I ended up getting forfeit victories. So it's still missing quite a few just kills that it could have had over the course of the season. That's enough talking about the scenario heading in. Now we're going to go over the team that I brought. First off, I am bringing an offensive Life Orb Modest Rotom Wash with Dual Stab with Hydro Pump and Volt Switch, Hidden Power Fire for this stupid piece of garbage in Ferrothorn, and then Pain Split, because if I'm Life Orb and switching around a whole lot, it would just make a whole lot of sense for me to run a Pain Split Rotom. Next up, I'm bringing my Stealth Rocks on Skarmory. I'm mainly bringing frickin' Skarmory for the Scolipede, so I can Whirlwind it out, because Scolipede is a real threat if it gets up just one speed boost. So that would be a huge detriment to my team, and I can't let it set up in my face and potentially pass to Garchomp, or the Victini that he even has, or the Lucario, all of which can do so much to my team if they get a speed boost. Next up, I am bringing a fully defensive spread, but adamant Mega Scizor. This is just enough bulk, really, just to switch around, to take on really anything that he has. It takes on the Scolipede pretty well. I don't think I brought Swords Dance on it, but it can pick it off with a Bullet Punch if I need it to. It's also my main switch into Clefable, as long as he's not running the Flamethrower or the Fire Blast. Either one could really just roast it, but I don't know if he's going to do that. Next up, we are bringing Infernape. Infernape is rocking Focus Sash with Flamethrower, Mach Punch, and Hidden Power Ice. I think it was Mach Punch, might not have been, I don't remember. Either way, it has Encore as its final move. Encore is going to be huge against his team, especially since he does have the Clefable. I can switch in and start wearing down his Clefable with the special attacks of obviously Flamethrower, my special attack, Because if he wants to try and lock himself into Wish and Protect, I can lock him into Protect with Encore. I can lock the Scolipede into like Swords Dance and then take it out with a Flamethrower. I can lock Rotom into Will-O-Wisp. I can lock Lucario into like Extreme Speed, but I mean he wouldn't, or not Extreme Speed, into Swords Dance. That's what I meant to say. I can lock him into Swords Dance and hope that he doesn't go for Extreme Speed, but obviously he's going to do that. And he has the Ferrothorn, so I could lock him into like Stealth Rocks or something. Next up, I am bringing a Choice Spec Sylveon. This is the first Spec Sylveon I brought all season. It took me this long to figure out that it does so much work to a whole lot of things. Yeah, I'm bringing Hyper Voice with Psyshock in order to hit the Scolipede and the Clefable, but Hyper Voice does more anyway. I don't know why I even said Clefable. I'm also bringing Shadow Ball on it in case he wanted to bring Victini, and then Baton Pass just for momentum, really. Last up, we have a Rest Talk Dual Stab Swampert because I felt like it did enough work to his team to the point where I could bring it and really stall him out if I really got to that point of needing to. And really, I'm glad that I brought it just for insurance, but I don't really think I really needed it because looking at the team preview, I really feel like Infernape can put in a whole lot of work just based on the team that he brought. So that's what I'm going to lead off with even. I'm going to decide to go out with my Infernape as he leads with the Rotom. He leads with Rotom. Let's go, game. He leads with Rotom. I don't know what he's going to do, so I'm going to switch out. I was fearing the Volt Switch, really, because I didn't think I could kill it in one hit. And he sets up a Reflect, and this really caught me off guard. I did not expect that. I'm going to predict his Ferrothorn switch in, because that's his number one switch in to my Swampert right here. So I'm going to go right back out and do my Infernape. Now, this is a great situation for me. I can fire off a Fire... need to stop saying Fire Blast. I can fire off a Flamethrower on anything that he wants to switch in, and he just leaves his Ferrothorn in to die. That was kind of a big play. Right here, I want to preserve my Sash as much as possible, so I'm going to go once again right back into my Swampert as he sets up his Light Screen. Now right here, the next few turns are going to be me trying to just waste time against his screens, like stall them out. That's what I mean by that. So I'm just gonna keep switching around. He goes into his Clefable and starts throwing up Protects, which I don't necessarily agree with because he's wasting time on his own screens when he could be going into like his Scolipede to start setting up if he really needed to. However, he's going to opt to go for the Protect and Wish and stuff. He goes for Moonblast, not that big of a deal. He gets the special attack drop. No, he doesn't. It wouldn't matter anyway. I'm just going to go ahead, take this chance to get up my rocks, because rocks are going to break the potential Sash on the Scolipede, which is a big deal. I can also use the rocks to tell if his Clefable is Magic Guard or Unaware. Most likely it's going to be Unaware because that's his best check to my Azumarill outside of Scolipede, of course. So I end up getting up my rocks, and he goes for the close combat, does basically nothing to me because I'm a fully physically defensive Skarmory, and I'm going to Whirlwind him out into the thing that I really don't want to Whirlwind out into. So what I opt to do is once again go straight. Oh wait, no, this time I make the prediction of him going for Reflect, and I go right into my Infernape, and this is where I reveal the Encore. Now he's locked into his Reflect. He can't Volt Switch out, and I get free Fire Blast. God, I said it again! Free Flamethrower damage off on anything that he wants to switch in, which is going to be his Clefable. Takes Rocks damage, we can see that it's Unaware. This Flamethrower does over half of what he had left, and I feel comfortable enough with my Sash still intact, firing off another Flamethrower here as he goes for another Protect. And this is kind of big for me because if he tries going for Protect again, I'm going to Encore him into it. So he knows he cannot stay in. So I'm going to make the safe play and just go for the Flamethrower. No, I'm going to, of course, make the safe play and go for the Encore, as I was just explaining. He switches out into his Garchomp. I felt safe staying in and going for the Hidden Power Ice because I still have my Focus Sash. And he ends up hard switching back out into his Rotom and then letting it die to a Flamethrower. This is the part in the match where things started to really unravel for Zero. He was really losing a whole lot of momentum and a lot of just, I don't know, pride in what he was doing. So he goes into his Lucario to break my Sash, and it dies to a Flamethrower. And then he's going to send in his, what, I don't remember, his Clefable. He's going to send in his Clefable, go for some Protect Shenanigans, maybe? No, he just leaves it in to die. That was respectable enough. He could have possibly lived another Flamethrower, but there's no way he would have killed me with one of his Moonblasts. Right here, he reveals that he doesn't have the Protect, which I was actually still really afraid of. If he had the Protect and was able to get that into his Garchomp, that would have been huge. However, he doesn't have it, and he just dies to a Flamethrower. And right here, moment of truth, Infernape is 5-0 at this point right now, but I failed a KO. I just needed a little tiny bit of damage in order for Infernape to go 6-0 in this match. Instead, it's going to fall short with a 5-1 performance in the final game of the regular season, and I'm going to allow Mega Scizor to come in and pick off the Garchomp for the 5-0 victory against our biggest rival in the NPL. So that was not really a close game at all. It was basically the Infernape show the whole time. So yeah, Infernape does end up winning the MVP. That's 2 years in a row that I myself have gotten a Pokemon to MVP. First season it was Azumarill. This season it was Infernape. Both of them are still on the team, and I love them both. They're both two of my very favorite Pokemon. And that's really that. We're looking forward to the playoffs now. We do win the 1 seed, sitting at 12-2 at plus 30 right now. After this game, Zero did have the final wildcard spot. However, he relinquished it in order for Danza to step in because Zero did not feel like playing anymore. He's really been upset with the league. Not really upset, he's just been really drained and doesn't really like playing as much as he used to. And so he relinquished it to Danza, who is going to step in as the final wildcard team. And I will play the winner between Danza and Togue. Togue, who of which I lost to because I made a really bad misplay, or miscalc. It was a miscalc and a misplay, but more so a miscalc. That cost me that game. And then I ended up beating Danza from the hands of him missing a Fire Blast and me getting a crit with Bullet Punch the next turn, killing off his Garchomp, which, you know, yeah, that kind of really sealed the fate for him, that match. So it would be nice to get a rematch with either of them, and I'm really looking forward to I'm really looking forward to face either one of them come playoff time, and I am 100% ready to go out and win this championship.